それではパラレル
We now like to start our panel session under the title of Effective Decontamination in Fukushima and Experiences in Europe. The session will be moderated by Mr. Mori, President IHS. The floor is yours, Mr. Mori. Our session here is on effective decontamination in Fukushima and experiences in Europe. The way we would like to structure this session is the following. We will invite 3 Japanese speakers, first of all, to discuss the current situation and the system that is now available in Japan in implementing decontamination. The 3 Japanese speakers will be followed by presentations by our friends from Germany, France, Spain, and Belarus. We have prominent experts from abroad, and these speakers will comment on the preceding presentations by 3 Japanese speakers, and the 3 Japanese speakers will speak in Japanese. So up until the end of the 3 presentations by Japanese speakers, we will conduct this session in Japanese. Now, our first presentation will be done by Professor Hiroshi Suzuki, Professor Emeritus, Fukushima University, Chair, Fukushima Prefecture Reconstruction Committee.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Dr. Mori. It is a great honor for me to be able to be given this invaluable opportunity. From my part, now, from April, we have established a FAIRDO, the Fukushima Action Research on Effective Decontamination Operation. The joint research was established. And I would like to explain the process leading up to establishment of the FAIRDO. What is the purpose and what has been the motivation? Because the panelists are here today, under the FAIRDO, the program from the 18th to the 23rd, all of these fellow panelists that have visited the different locations, the affected areas. So we would like to learn from the experience that they have observed, as well as learning from the lessons from Europe. And that is the aim of this session. Fukushima is actually plunged into this dire state. As you know very well, on March 11th, we had a big earthquake and tsunami. And on the very same day, at the nuclear power plants, there was an instruction being given to evacuate from 2 kilometers to 3 kilometers from the plant. The unit 1 has melted down on the 12th and exploded. And at this juncture, the evacuation was expanded to 10 kilometers radius in a concentric manner. And on the 14th of March, the Unit 2 and Unit 3 have melted down. And on the 15th, Unit 2 and Unit 4 have exploded. And on the 20th of April, the 20-kilometer zone was to be evacuated. That was the instruction given by the government. And ever since then, the government, and since the slide is too busy for you to read, as the national government as well as Fukushima prefectural government have taken various actions and measures. But this was the very first experience, so there was much chaos and confusion. The prefecture, the national government, as well as municipalities, and also the local communities, how to be engaged in decontamination activities. No communication amongst the different parties, and coordination was not really working. So there was total breakdown of the communication. So against this backdrop, the affected areas in the Fukushima prefecture, as well as in other areas, we wanted to recommend the effective decontamination operation. And already we have the Chernobyl incident as an experience, so perhaps we can have international cooperation to support us. And we thought that we should proceed with joint research with colleagues from abroad. And on the 2nd of July, we have given recommendation from the committee to the Fukushima prefectural government as for the way forward for reconstruction. And then there was an ISAP meeting last year in this very hall. And I have met with Dr. Tepfer. And Dr. Professor Tepfer has suggested the experience in Germany. And I have discussed with Dr. Tepfer what was happening on the ground in Fukushima, which is mentioned in the box at the top. And in September last year, Dr. Tepfer, his research institute, the IAS, I have visited the institute and have met with more than a dozen the researchers and the scientists in Germany, the Uranus Rhodos, as well as Prepare and so forth, the NERITS. We have shared the information, and I was able to learn a lot from the European colleagues. And after I have returned to Japan, I have still continued to have communication with Dr. Tepfer, and I thought that we could have an international joint research. And at the end of the last fiscal year, we have prepared the framework proposal, and we were given budget from the government, and we have started and launched our research from April this year.
There are three research components as indicated. First, governance. As I've already mentioned, the government, central government, prefecture, municipalities, the affected area, the people affected, the communities affected, how information could be shared. And in delivering policy decisions, how we can engage the local people, what framework needs to be in place for the engagement of the local people. That kind of framework was immature, so we had to tackle that issue. The second research component is the fact that the land affected was diverse from mountainous area, forestry to plainland. So what would be the effective decontamination operation for each individual district? Thirdly, in the communities, local communities, what kind of communications need to be done within the communities and between experts and the communities? So risk communication included, we prepared for the third research component. And sorry for the typo, but for each of these components, we asked foreign experts to participate. And since April, we've been implementing this research, and as the first stage from the 18th of this month, for 5 days, we went to the affected area to conduct hearing, and we also went to facilities for treatment of high dosage. And 3-year research will be done, and each year to offer deliverables so that good practices could be identified every year. And from time to time, we hope to deliver those results. Thank you very much. That was my brief presentation.
Thank you. Not on specific decontamination techniques, the overall governance, communication systems, where the is to be discussed in this session. From the Ministry of Environment, we have radioactive activities and decontamination office officer, Mr. Kuniaki Makia is our next speaker. Mr. Makia, you have the floor. Thank you for your kind introduction. Mr. Seki were originally decided to be here, but I'm here in lieu of Mr. Seki. I would like to discuss the decontamination framework, which is now being implemented by the Japanese government, and how much progress we have made, and the challenges that we currently face. I hope that the presentation will can be the basis of our discussion afterwards. This is a result of monitoring using airplanes, and this was mentioned during the presentation by Professor Suzuki. Immediately after the accident, the Japanese government